Private Landbrauerei Scheuerer Moosebacher Schwarze Weisse.
And remember, life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. Today, from Bavaria, it's the quiz of the week. Do you remember that? What the fuck was that? Sale of the century. I'm showing my age there. That was a 70s quiz show. Now, from Norwich, it's the Nicholas Parsons. I'm trying to think the fucking geezer's name. I'm rambling already, and I've not even had a drink. What have we got here today? We have got the Moosebacher Schwarze Weisse from the Private Landbrauerei Scheuerer, who are based in a place called Moosebach, would you believe, which is in Bavaria, in the Neustadt district, which borders the Czech Republic. Now, I've actually been to a place called Herf, which is also on the Czech Republic as well, on the Czech Republic border, I should say. And if you cast your mind back, obviously during the Cold War, the Czech Republic didn't exist. It was called Czechoslovakia. It was combined between what was Bohemia and Moravia, and basically it encompassed what is now the Czech Republic and Slovakia. That was one country under the control of them commie bedwetters, the Soviets. And they actually there in Herf, I think it is. They actually had a mini Berlin Wall between the two areas. And when I say a mini Berlin Wall, it was a wall separating the two. And I've actually been there. They've got watchtowers and everything. But the point I'm trying to make is this is quite close to the Czech region as well. No less, Pilsen is where it's near, and of course Pilsen is where Pilsner originated from back in the would have been the 13 or 1400s. In what is now, I think that was originally part of Germany, but not anymore. Anyway, I'm fucking rambling. This is the Moosebacher Schwarze Weisse. Now, Schwarze Weisse, it translates roughly to black-white, and it is basically a Dunkel Weissbier, or a Dunkel Weiss. And it's a brewery I've not come across before. Never heard of them. I got this from the Rainsville Superstore. They're a online beer retailer. They're based up in Leeds, and I saw this on their website, and I thought that looks intriguing. Schwarze Weisse. Now, I was going to assume that it was a type of a black beer made with wheat, but it's not. From what I'm gathering from the research on this, it's just a Dunkel Weissbier. But Schwarze Weisse is it's a new one on me. It's a brewery that has been going since 1887, and as the name would suggest, if you look up the brewery, they are a private brewery. They're independent. They're based in Moosebach, and can you tell I'm fucking treading water and haven't got a lot of information on the brewery. There isn't much on the website about the history of the brewery, just to basically say that it's been handed down through the generations of a family, and that's where they are now. So there really isn't that much I can tell you about the brewery. Not much about the beer. I will say one thing that I've found out about them. They do have their own well, 40 metres deep well, which they use for the production of their beer, and they use Spalt and Hallertau region hops in their beer, and the malt that they use comes from a place called Burgerstesse. I think it's how it's pronounced, or Burgerstesse, somewhere like that. It's a region in Bavaria where apparently the malt that comes from there is really good. But that's all I've got, so that's a bit sparse, so I'm not even going to elaborate on that. Let's get on to the next section and see what the beer's about. Right, again, this is going to be a short review because there's not much about this. They're a relatively small operation, but this beer is a 500ml bottle. It is 5% ABV. It's a Weissbier from what I can gather, and that is about it really. It is beers in date. Here's a little one for you. There's a brewery, Jacob, I think they're called. I had 2 of their beers. Fuck me, I was rough after them. Both times, really rough. And yeah, I would not recommend. They're a Bavarian brewer as well. And I tried their Doppelbock, and that went through me the next day like a dose of salts, if you know what I mean. And I tried their Weissbier. That was a couple of, I think it was less than a month out of date. And that went through me like a dose of salts as well. And I was rough for the rest of the day. And I know it was that because I only had 1 beer that night. Yeah, not good. Jacob, if you ever come across them, I would avoid them. I should have reviewed it on the channel, but I hadn't heard of them before, and I just thought, well, actually, no, I'm lying. I have reviewed the Doppelbock. I did review the Doppelbock, actually, and it was dodgy from the start. I could see that the head on it dissipated really quickly, and that wasn't a good sign. It didn't taste too bad, but the next day, yeah, that was not worth it at all. Anyway, enough about that. And yeah, again, that's all I'm going to be able to tell you about this. So rather than try and bullshit the brains out of you, let's get it open and let's see what's going on. Right, flip top bottles. The old Germans love these. Very recyclable. I think that's why they do it. Other breweries can recycle these bottles as well, so it doesn't really matter where you are or what brewery you've drunk the beer from. You can always recycle these bottles, and another brewery can use the bottles. That smells quite nice, actually. It is definitely a Dunkel Weiss. I can see that from the colour. Old fucking Columbo here. And check him out. He's got it all into the glass. There's a little dreg left in there. I'll pull that in afterwards. But there it is in the glass. It's a murky, brownish orange colour. It's there's no visibility through that at all. So that is definitely Naturtrüb, as the Germans would call it, i.e. unfiltered. There's the last of the dregs in there. On the nose, quite sweet banana, and some slight caramel malt on that. It smells nice though, I will say. That is not a bad aroma. Now this is cold, it's come out of the fridge, and these can be drunk on a summer's day. They are quite refreshing. I have to say the head retention on that is good, as opposed to the Jacob that I tried. That head on both of them wheat beers rapidly dissipated, and that was not a good sign. Always trust your instinct. If the head dissipates really quickly, that's a bad beer. Anyway, enough of my rambling. Let's get it down hatch. Zum Wohl, as they say in Germany. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's really nice. That's one of the sweeter wheat beers that are around. If you can imagine Franziskaner, that's quite a sweet one. The Einsiedler brewery, their wheat beer is like this as well. Very sweet esters from the yeast on this. Sweet banana. And there's almost a vanilla in this one as well. This is really nice. There's a little hit of spice at the end, which is really nice on that. But the general synopsis on this is that it is quite sweet, but in a good way. It's like a sweet banana-esque, some caramel malt on top of that, and a nice spicy finish at the end. Well, hints of spice at the end, I should say. Carbonation is just about right on that. And that's nice. I do like that. That is a solid Dunkel Weiss. Now, I don't think it compares to the Weihenstephaner. That will take some beating. And of course, Schneider Weiss, who in my opinion are the best wheat beer brewer in Germany. Some might disagree. You're perfectly entitled to your opinion, but that's my opinion. But I have to say, this is a nice one. Nice and full-bodied, very drinkable, quite refreshing. Lots of flavour, but it's not overpowering. The sweetness on it is absolutely spot on. They've got that perfect, that balance, and it's really nice. Yeah, that is a good one. There's a subtle hint of caramel on there as well. It is subtle, but it's there. But the dominant flavour is that yeasty ester of sweet banana. There's not much clove on there. There is a tiny hint of it, but it's more about the banana on this. But it's nice, I have to say. Yeah, the clove is a bit subtle on it, but it's nice. I like that. That's a good one. So what is the verdict on Moosebacher Schwarze Weisse from the private Landbrauerei Scheuerer? Yeah, that is not bad at all. Now, I've tried some pretty ropey wheat beers lately that really haven't cut the mustard. And I've tried some Dunkel Weizen, I should say, from Bavarian brewers, where it's been quite bitter. And the yeast or the yeasty esters on there really haven't shone through. It's been more about the hops, but this has got the balance almost perfect. Really nice sweet banana ester on there with a hint of clove. Not big, just about right. And there's a nice spicy finish on it, but you also get some of the wheat character in there, and the malt character too, I should say. There's a nice element of caramel malt, which is relatively subtle, but that is nice. That is a really good, well, a Dunkel Weiss. They've called it a Schwarze Weisse, which is a little bit misleading. I thought this was some kind of black beer that was made with wheat, but it's not. That is a really solid Bavarian Dunkel. Now, it might not look like much in the glass, but the flavour on that is really good. And I think they've got that spot on. That's a good one. Doesn't compare with the best, though, I have to say. Doesn't compare with the big six Munich breweries. Their wheat beers are generally top-notch. Their Dunkel Weizen, I should say, they are really good. But this is a worthy contender, and I would definitely buy that again. I'm going over to Bavaria, and yeah, if I see this kicking about, I'm going to Nuremberg, which is not too far. Well, actually a place called Herf, which isn't too far away from this place where these are. So if this is available, I'm probably going to try and get some of this, because that is a really nice Dunkel Weiss. And for that reason, I am going to give that a solid 8.5 out of 10. I don't know what the price on this was, but this was about £3.50, roughly around that kind of figure. So if you do see it, I got this from the Rainville Superstore. They're online. Subscriber kindly put me onto them, and I got a few beers from them. Some good, some not so good. That Jacob Brewery, avoid them. I don't know what it is with that beer, but yeah, that was not good, if you know what I mean. But this stuff, I have to say, has more than made up for it. I really like that, and that is a solid 8.5 out of 10. I'm going to remember that, and if I'm in Germany, I'm going to get some of that, because that is really good. And remember, beer is working class champagne.